was my conscious decision to give away all privileges of heteronormative patriarchal life. I've been on both sides. I lived as a man, and now I live as a woman. I know how it feels like on the both sides of gender spectrum. And I know how it feels when you're only an object that doesn't have any right to speak freely. Hi, I'm Kira, a transgender woman who shares her experience of transitioning from male to female. I thought about making this video for a long time, probably since I started social transition and experienced objectification for the first time. It was unexpected and scary. You realize that people around you perceive you only as an image or an object. They don't care about your feelings. You're only a toy to them. But before we dive deep, we have to understand that it is a very broad topic. I have divided it into 3 separate videos. The first one is about misogyny, objectification, and sexualization of women in general, from a transgender woman's perspective. The second one will be about sexualization and objectification of transgender women specifically, and the third part will be about transphobia. All of these issues are tightly connected and have become part of our everyday reality. The reasons for these issues are similar, but they have their own specifics. Let's start with the theory, and then I will share my own experience and thoughts. Let's look in the Cambridge Dictionary to understand what objectification means. Objectification is treating people like tools or toys, as if they had no feelings, opinions, or rights of their own. There are 7 features identified by Martha Nussbaum as part of objectification. Instrumentality, the treatment of a person as a tool for the objectifier's purposes. Denial of autonomy, the treatment of a person as lagging in autonomy and self-determination. Inertness, the treatment of a person as lagging in agency and perhaps also in activity. Fungibility, the treatment of a person as interchangeable with other objects. Viability, the treatment of a person as lagging in boundary integrity. Ownership, the treatment of a person as something that is owned by another, can be bought or sold. Denial of subjectivity, the treatment of a person as something whose experiences and feelings, if any, needed not be taken into account. Ray Langton added 3 features to this list. Reduction to body, the treatment of a person as identified with their body or body parts. Reduction to appearance, the treatment of a person primarily in terms of how they look or how they appear to the senses. Silencing, the treatment of a person as if they are silent, lacking the capacity to speak. Each of these features can cause deep pain, but usually they are combined or used all at once, which can cause a paralyzing effect on any woman. Society often treats women not as a complete human being, but separates some aspects, like body parts or other features. In this way, general idea of woman is being replaced by that separation, making her more likely to be objectified. Empathy and compassion are not required for an object. As a consequence of misogyny and objectification, we experience multiple issues: gender-based violence, financial inequality, psychological harm, and gender-based stereotypes. Unfortunately, these attitudes are ingrained in both men and women from the childhood. I believe the majority of women have experienced objectification. Starting in school, girls are forced to wear a uniform that covers most of the body parts that men perceive as sexual. Teachers tell girls how they should sit, what they should wear, and how they should talk, just to keep everything pure according to their beliefs. Girls are told to stay silent and swallow that bitter pill. When these girls grow up, these beliefs are deeply imprinted in their minds and are considered as a norm. But it isn't. It's made up by one part of society to protect its interests. As a result, women stay silent, and every loud female voice is seen as a disorder or deviation from the norm. No one even tries to understand and listen what she is saying. In modern culture and society, women are still highly sexualized. Despite feminist movements and more open conversations in the media, women often have a limited role, usually related to pleasing men and drawing attention to their bodies. For example, I've noticed a strong correlation on Instagram between the amount of likes and how sexually attractive a female influencer looks. It is much easier to attract audience with a visually pleasing appearance than with the ideas and knowledge she shares. This sets a bad example for other women who want to gain popularity and success, but refuse to share revealing images. It diminishes self-esteem and confidence in women. The stereotype if you want to be successful, you have to demonstrate your sexuality is growing. It is creating a harmful perception, especially among younger women. Many women get trapped in this cycle of feeling forced to look attractive to achieve something. We have much higher standards for our appearance. Society expects us to look like women from magazines. Yes, sometimes we have to draw extra attention by applying makeup or wearing clothes that emphasizes our femininity, just to be seen and possibly heard. As a result, we see the humanization of women. We are forced to be sexually attractive to be heard, but once we look sexual, no one wants to listen to us. Internalized misogyny is the issue that hurts me deeply. It is something that we see every day from other women, and it is destructive not only to the society, but to those women as well. It is caused by adopting sexist beliefs of themselves. They diminish their own worth and the worth of other women. Patriarchal attitudes are so deeply ingrained in their minds that women perceive them as their own thoughts and beliefs. Internalized misogyny often manifests as women judging other women for their appearance and questioning social gender norms. They criticize others for differences in behavior that don't match their ideal image of a woman. They compete with other women and diminish their success, instead of being allies. For me, one of the most harmful expressions of misogyny is downplaying their own or someone else's experience of harassment or sexism. In the worst cases, they may blame the victim for provoking the aggressor. This causes other women to feel shame, guilt, and to silence on these issues. We feel powerless when we see everyone around us following these rules, and we can't do anything about it. We as women should ask ourselves, are these truly our beliefs? And how do we benefit from them? Or are we excusing misogyny and sexism just because we've been taught to do so? Internalized misogyny lowers our self-esteem. It impacts our relationships with other women and perpetuates gender-based violence. Recently I had a conversation and came to a phrase I strongly believe in. If we free ourselves from internalized misogyny, the world will change drastically. Old destructive norms and systems wouldn't work anymore. Men always carry with them this weapon, their physical strength. I experienced it myself when I had a male body. I understood I have power within me. I didn't care about limitations my body placed on me. Once my hormone levels reached cisgender female range, my muscles drastically decreased, and I lost a lot of strength I used to have. I still work out several times a week, but biology plays a significant role in differences between men and women. Every power you possess gives you the option of controlling something or someone. This applies to wealth, social status, belonging to a privileged group, and also physical strength. You can not only defend, but also attack. And it is much safer for an attacker to face someone unarmed, someone who can't fight back. I experienced it during an instance of harassment. I won't go into details today, but I clearly understood an enormous difference when you're completely helpless and can't do anything about it. It's hard for most men to understand this feeling of being entirely under someone's physical control. This feeling freezes your body and burns you inside. There is no way to avoid psychological trauma after this. Of course, the majority of men are respectful, understanding, maintain boundaries, and are free of misogyny and sexualization. But it's not uncommon to hear in social media and mass media that male attention to women should be perceived as a reward. We should feel content because we achieved the main goal of our lives. Attention from men is the measurement of female success. If a man doesn't show interest in a woman, there must be something wrong with her. Men are being generous by allowing us to please them. Does this sound familiar? It doesn't work like that. We're self-sufficient. We don't need anyone's evaluation of our actions. We don't need permission to speak. We can decide for ourselves if we want to look classy, elegant, sexual, or even wear an old t-shirt and pajamas. It's up to us if we want to be attractive or not. It's up to us if we want to be in relationships or focus on other things. Thankfully, I'm not the first woman to speak out about misogyny and female objectification. I hope our voices will sound louder and finally be heard by society. I see more and more women waking up every day and seeing the full perspective. But we rarely hear about the impact on men themselves. They are also victims of this society. They are forced to desire, to play the dominant role, to act as alpha males, and to place women in the background. It is often shameful for a man to say publicly that he is okay with being led by a woman, to admit that she knows something better or can find a better way. It's shameful for a man to admit that he isn't an alpha male, and his libido isn't as high as portrayed in movies. If he does any of that, society will perceive him as weak and untrustworthy. I think this topic isn't highlighted enough in public spaces, and it's worth making a separate video. What do you think of that? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. We all have our strengths, and we should use them for the benefit of society. There should be mutual respect without demeaning other genders. We're not toys. We have our own feelings and thoughts. If they differ from yours, it's not the reason to treat them with disdain. Yes, male and female sexualities are different. Our bodies are different. Our feelings are not the same. Only transgender people know both sides and have the full perspective. We're the ones who can truly compare and tell others what challenges different genders face every day. I don't favor any side and I don't hold biases. It's harmful for society to have these conflicts, but as long as inequality and humiliation of one part of society persist, I will talk about it. In conclusion, I would like to say one thing. We're different, we're not the same, but we are equal. Thank you for being with me. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and see you soon in my next video. Bye.